you are in the world at whatever time zone. I guess I'm having lunch with all you folks in the Midwest and maybe a late lunch. You're wrapping up on the East Coast. But it is good to be with you. And wherever you are listening, maybe 24/7, the show does stay posted up there all the time. So if you're really, really, really having problems sleeping, then check us out at 3 in the morning. And then you'll find out what we do here. So this is the Dr. Cloud Show. It is a 1 hour time for us to talk to each other. You can call in with your issues or questions about all the kind of stuff we talk about here in human people's growth. It includes you and the people you love, all the issues that we run into, like how we feel, our anxieties and depressions and addictions, or being in a relationship with somebody that might have some of those problems, or have some screws loose in their thinking about how to have a good relationship that's not exactly jiving with the way you think it should work. Well, when that happens, it's time to talk. And you can do that. So call me 844-940-2774, 844-940-2774, 844-940-2774. And as we've been doing lately, we're starting off the program by taking one of our Boundaries.me subscribers' email questions. If you are a Boundaries.me subscriber, then you can email us with your question and we will try to get it on the show and answer it there. And if you're not a Boundaries.me subscriber, that's how you get access to all this great information about life and everything we talk about here. So just go to Boundaries.me, that webpage, and sign up. That's all you got to do. All righty. I am going to keep this person's name anonymous because she didn't tell us whether or not to, but I bet a lot of you, both really married and unmarried, can relate to this. She is unmarried and she's got a boyfriend. And here is her question: how do I talk to my boyfriend about his drinking? I am worried that I may see it as a bigger problem than he does, but I do feel it affects our relationship. I almost want to stop right there. Um, because you said something really interesting, which I think can go a couple of different ways. Actually, three different ways that I can think of. When you say you're worried, you might see it as a bigger problem than he does, but I do feel it affects our relationship. Okay, there's kind of three possibilities for that. There literally are people that don't really have uh, an alcohol problem, but they might like to have, a drink or two here and there. It's not a problem, doesn't affect their functioning, doesn't affect anything. But somebody they're dating or friend or family or whatever may have just a problem with any alcohol. They think that's like a big deal. So it causes a problem in their relationship. That doesn't sound like what's going on here, but that's one way this could be. It may be that he doesn't have um, an addiction. He may not be an alcoholic, but he certainly drinks more than he should, right? Because in some way it affects the relationship. I'm assuming not the first category, but I'm assuming not just because he drinks, but that he starts to behave in ways that affect the relationship. Maybe he, just conks out at 7 o'clock, or maybe he gets belligerent, or who knows. But somehow, if he's having behavior changes, then that affects the relationship. If it's affecting the relationship, then it's a problem. Okay. And then the third thing you said was he may be you're seeing it as a bigger problem than he does. Well, I shouldn't say never. Most of the time, people with drinking problems do not see it as a problem. So that doesn't really kind of plumb line it as to who's right or wrong, or if he has a problem or not. So, um, Anne-Marie, well, let me see here. Where are we? Nope. I'm sorry, I went to a different question. The the thing that you got to really focus here on is that it's a problem for you. Okay, so just remember, you're in a relationship. You're in a relationship. And how the other person, your boyfriend, is acting in the relationship, if it has consequences for you, then that matters. So, what you want to make sure you don't do is minimize that. And you've got to, like you're saying, at least talk to him about it and see if he responds. Now, let's continue with what she's written here. He's taken steps to only drink on the weekends, but even then, I feel unsteady, anxious that it's still too much. Okay, there you go. So, you have got to make sure that what you don't want to be around and what you don't want to be experienced, what you don't want to be experiencing, that that is a standard for you. It doesn't have to be right for him, but it is for you. So I want you to hold on to that because a lot of times you might get talked out of that, right? But if it's too much for you, then there you go. Okay, now here's where it gets interesting. My therapist is concerned that he's an alcoholic and has recommended I draw a line for sobriety. Well, shouldn't there always be a line for sobriety? I mean, I agree with your therapist that sobriety is, that's the pretty standard line that society, much less people that really worry about this stuff, care about, right? You can get thrown out of a party, you can get thrown out of a bar, you can get thrown out of any places if you're so drunk that it's affecting your 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 behavior. So, yeah, I think to want to have a relationship that sobriety is kind of what we want to maintain here. That's not an outlandish thing to want to have a sober person that you're in a relationship with. And she's concerned he's an alcoholic, so recommended to draw a line for sobriety. While I see that as a healthy requirement, there's so many good qualities to him. I don't want this relationship to end. Now we're getting to the issue. We're planning to buy a house, I am, in March to move in together. This only adds to my anxiety of him not seeing the effect this has had on me. Okay, I just want you don't even have to listen to me here. Okay, listen to yourself. Listen to what you're saying. You're saying, I'm in a relationship with the guy that's got so many good qualities and I, like him and this, that, and the other, except he's got a drinking problem. All right. Now, what you've got to do is you cannot just say, but all these good things, I don't want to lose all these things, and exclude the drinking problem from the list of things of who he is. I want you to draw a circle around the whole person, okay, and say, good thing, good thing, good thing, love this, enjoy this, and he's drunk a lot. See, you don't get the good things without the bad thing. And what you're saying is this bad thing is getting you to a place where it's really affecting the relationship. And if I were you, this is what your therapist is telling you, that unless you want to continue to put up with this and live with this, and generally this does not get better without being treated in some way, okay, then realize that's what you're signing up for. Unless you want to be in a relationship with somebody with a drinking problem, it's time for you to decide and put your foot down and say, I think you have a drinking problem. Whether or not you think you have a drinking problem, I have a problem with your drinking. And so, if you don't think you do, then we, you and I, are going to go see an alcohol counselor, an expert who looks at this all the time. And we're going to see what they have to say. And we're going to see if they think you have a problem or not. And if they do, then They'll probably got some steps that you can engage in, right? And you can begin to see this as a problem. Or you can just stop for my sake, or I'm going to have to make a hard choice. What you don't have the option is continuing like it is and wanting only the sober him to show up when the rest of him shows up too. So you got to treat him as he really is, all of him, and then you have to deal with him. So I agree with your therapist, and here's what I would say, just like that. I'd say, Joey, this drinking has been a problem for me, and here are the specifics: this passing out, getting belligerent, losing control, whatever it is. I don't want to be around that, and so I'm going to. I want to go talk to somebody about this because I don't know how we can move forward if we are on opposite ends of the spectrum with what I want to live with. So I'm putting my foot down. I'm not going to be around somebody that's drunk. Period. That's it. Okay. So I hope that's helpful to you. A lot of times, people do get in squabbles about this, about what's a problem and what isn't. And here's what matters. What matters is if it is a problem to you, it is a problem. Okay, you're not going before the judge, the ultimate alcohol genius that says this is too much, this is not. If it's causing problems in your relationship, that's one of the symptoms of a drinking problem when it begins to affect somebody's relationships. And so that's enough for you to sit down and say, I have a problem with your drinking. You might not want to say you have a drinking problem. They don't agree with, but they can't disagree with, I have a problem with your drinking. And when you begin to do this and this and this, then you could draw some other boundaries as well. You could say, okay, you don't think you have a problem, but here's the behaviors I will not tolerate and I won't be around. Okay. When you begin to do this and this and this and this, then that's when I leave and I'll see you the next day or something. But anyway, a lot of times when you get to this point, it's probably good to go see a real alcohol counselor because here's what I've learned about alcohol counselors. The difference in them and most therapists is a lot of therapists have not, they haven't treated alcoholics. And so they can get kind of sucked in to sometimes some of the denial circles, but real therapists who have really treated a lot of alcoholics, and that's what they do, they don't get sucked in. They don't get pulled into all the games. Okay, we are going to go to the phones. Let me give you the number, 844-940-2774, 844-940-2774. We got a line or two open now. Quick announcement. If you have been touched by divorce in your life, or you're going through one or contemplating one, or know somebody that is, we have a very special event, a 2-hour webinar coming up soon in October. And the way to get all the information on that, we have a lot of stuff going on with that. Divorce is horrible. And it takes recovery. And there are people that stay stuck because they don't address the issues. And some people come out the other end of a divorce and do engage in the right processes of how to heal, but further than that, how to thrive and how to have a future where you don't give up on love and you really can believe in having hope again. So that's what we talk about in divorce recovery. Now, there's some confusion about how to sign up. Go to boundaries.me/recover, not recovery, but recover. Boundaries.me/recover. Okay, that is the site. So let's go to the phones. We're going to talk to Joyce, who's calling us from British Columbia. We actually have our first international caller today. Hey, Joyce, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Dr. Cloud. It's a pleasure to speak with you.
Likewise.
Okay, so my problem is that I have a sister whose behavior is very toxic, and so much so that a year ago I put in place like a no contact boundary. Um, and her response
How?
to
What
that
are you?
is that
But before you go,
okay,
go on.
okay.
How? What is a family constellation? You is this your big sister or little sister?
She's younger than I am.
How many
Yeah.
years?
Uh, 3 years.
3 years. Okay. And how many other siblings do you have?
I have a brother who's 6 years younger. I'm the oldest in the
You're
family.
the oldest. Okay. And how old are all you guys?
Okay, I'm 65.
65. Okay. So
So,
what is her toxic behavior that you had to say, get away? I can't talk to you. What did she do? That's a
yeah,
big boundary.
well, yeah, there's a long list.
Well, give me three
There's
of the horrible ones.
okay, false accusations and
To your
twisting the
face?
truth.
To your face? Did she call the FBI, the IRS, your church? What did she accuse you of and to whom?
Okay, it was in the process of trying to resolve differences, and I thought
So
we
it's
were
in the
getting,
relationship between just the two of you.
yeah, just the two of us, and then
Okay.
she accused me of something, and I know that I didn't do it, and she insists I did,
Okay.
and
So what?
lies. She has lied to my face. Yeah,
Oh,
and
lying. So now we got slander,
yeah,
false accusations, lying. What else?
yeah. Well, when it comes to talking about past events, only her version of what happened is the right version. She's dismissive of my memory. My memories don't count. Um, and
Okay.
and it's sarcasm, like when I try to uh, talk with her, she's just sarcastic. And the thing is, the last 3 times we were together to try to resolve differences, we both agreed that our husbands would be present. And
Oh,
so my husband has heard many of these things, and I learned that I had to document everything because the next time around, you know, the
okay.
story was different from her
All right.
perspective.
So
It's just,
give me your question.
yeah.
You said the
Okay.
last three
What?
times you guys have tried this 3 times.
Yeah, that was following meeting with a mediator that I
Wow.
paid
Okay.
for.
Wow. All right. So we're
And
way down the
yeah,
road here on said conflict. Okay. So give me your question. It
yeah.
sounds like you've tried a bunch of stuff.
Oh, I have. Yeah, my question is, um, even though I have this boundary in place to prevent her from hurting me further, it seems to me that she's now using other people, meaningful people in my life, to hurt me. That is, my married son and daughter-in-law have been invited to their home much more frequently in the last year, and I'm wondering, is it appropriate for me to
Why is that
tell
a
my
problem?
son,
Why is that a problem?
well, okay, I've been hoping that she will kind of see the light and
No, no,
and
no, no, no,
repent of
no.
her.
Stop, 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 stop. Yeah, we all
Okay,
hope that, but you can't plan on that, right? You got to plan on what
yeah,
you're seeing, right? So
right,
I would take her seeing the light and put it up there and send it to God and say, God, please have her see the light. But I'm going to plan as if she hasn't seen it and isn't going to see it because everything she's shown me says that she's not going to see it. But she's
yeah.
free to she's free to hang out with your son and his wife. I mean, if he likes being around that, that's up to him.
But she has a very charming side,
Great, I'm
and
sure she does.
she's
It's
very
very hard to get
hospitable.
along in the world being the kind of person that you're describing if you're not charming, talented, wealthy, beautiful, or something. There's got to be some hook for
Yeah,
people. I get that. But so
yeah.
I need a question. We what is the question?
Okay, so I was wondering, do I tell my son about her behaviors? But if I do, I fear backlash from her in that she will very quickly put words in my mouth to make me look bad to my son, because she has put words.
Why would you have to do? No, just let her go. Let her go. Your son's going to experience her if she does something that affects your relationship with your son, then you start to feel that relationship gets goofy or he says something, then yeah, you can clarify it. But see, she's got you thinking about all this and conniving in your head. And what do I do? And I don't mean conniving in a bad way, but I mean strategizing and all this. She's still taking up too much space in your head, right?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
What you might say, to your son is, you may hear from her that we're estranged, but have a good time and do whatever you do. If you hear that, I
Yeah.
I don't really need to talk about it or anything. But if you hear that, that's anything you want to ask me, you can. But I wouldn't actively get involved. There's too much to worry about. If she starts to cause problems, then you can. Okay, tough thing though. I tell
Yeah.
you, it is very. Thank you for your call. I think a lot of people can identify with having somebody in the family circle that's hard to deal with, right? Because they do conniving things and they do triangulated things and they say things that aren't true and all that kind of stuff. So sometimes it comes to the place where really can't talk to you if all you're going to do is accuse me of things that aren't true and lie and stuff like that. Sometimes you have to do that, and it is painful. Okay, 844-940-2774. And let's go back to the phones, and we're going to talk to Cassie, who's calling us from Pennsylvania. Cassie, welcome to the program.
Hi, Dr. Cloud. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm okay. Do you want me to give you the question?
Yeah.
My family and I were on the mission field for a long time, and my husband, serving as a pastor, was I'll just use the word mistreating cruelly the family, and I left.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Your husband was mistreating whom? You and who else?
And my teens. My teens more prominently than myself. And the treatment was severe enough that after trying to speak with him and there was no real accountability, we left where we were and came back to the States. And I went to our mission board
you and the
a
kids,
year ago.
You and the kids came back here.
Yeah.
Was he abusing them in some way?
I believe so, yeah. But I never did get sorry.
It never did get what?
I never got authorities involved. It was a foreign place.
Well.
So I just kind of.
What does that mean?
Quickly.
What kind of abuse was this?
Locking them in a room and striking them and speaking very degradingly, yelling.
And
it was punishment.
Did your missions board know about this?
So when I came back, we did have one meeting where he came and I came before the missions board, and I told them all of what was happening, and they I think kind of put in a difficult position, sort of like, okay, you can go back where you are, you need to wrap things up, you need to come back from the mission field and work things out with your family. But his attempts at coming back, maybe 4 times over the last year and a half, have gone very poorly. It hasn't been what was happening overseas, like physical stuff, just not healthy. A lot of blame shifting, that kind of thing. And so he came into the home unannounced once, kind of snuck in another time, and because we weren't officially
How old are your kids?
divorced or separated.
How old are your kids?
They now are. At the time when it happened, the youngers were 14, 16, and 18.
How old are they
and
now?
I have two older ones. They are now 16, 17, and 19.
Okay. So give me your question, and then I've got a few thoughts for you.
So the question then is, now Mission Field hears me saying a few more things about how this isn't going. They kind of didn't, the missions office didn't like put pressure, like, here's your timeline. And they've continued supporting him on the mission field.
Okay, Cassie,
saying,
this is ridiculous. I don't know. Does this mission board have all this information?
They do.
What are they thinking? What are they? How can they send him back out there when they know all of this?
They thought he was going to kind of, the degree of what was happening hasn't happened since. So they thought he was going to try to like make things a little better, but it hasn't been better. And,
but his family is falling apart.
Correct. So now they're finally saying, hey, this is the end, and you need to come back. Right.
Okay, so they're finally not enabling this
and asking.
Okay.
Correct.
All right.
And they're asking me then, they're bringing him back and asking me to meet with them all again together. And I just don't see any value in redivulging what I've already done again in front of my husband, in front of basically like his bosses. Like I just don't.
What is the purpose?
To once again reiterate why he ought to not be on the mission field. I think I just don't really get why I need to be present.
That's exactly right. Here's what I would do. I would tell them, look, here's the information I've given you. Okay. Do you have that in front of you? If you don't, I'll resend it to you. What is it that you need more than I've given you? I don't want to be there.
That's kind of what I started writing in a note, and I just wanted to see if you thought I was right, because I don't see why I need to get pulled back in.
If the purpose is for them to gather information, that information has already been given to them, and they've not done anything with it over time. And just ask them, here is what I've given you. Do you have that? And what is it that you're looking for past that? And then they can be specific.
And I feel like what they want to do is ask if I'm willing. I feel like I'm being set up to once again be asked what I'm willing to do to fix this.
Well, what are you willing to do?
That's the right question.
Well, it's not an illegitimate question. I could ask you that. What are you willing to do?
I'm not willing to have him in the house. I'm willing to have him be somewhere nearby so he can start working on having a more healthy relationship with his kids, probably first.
And specifically, okay, great. Those are all good things. But specifically, I would want you to get more specific and more demanding than that. That's going to require, some kind of structured counseling program with him and his kids. Because you're not going to just bring him in and he's going to work this out with his kids with no change process in his life. That's just setting the kids up again. So I would get very strict.
I don't want to reopen the wounds, basically. Like I can't, I owe it to my kids not to make this happen again.
Right. And what you just said is you're open to some kind of process that would heal it. I'm just saying, don't just throw them in a room together. Make sure the process is set up. Okay. So in terms of your question, I would ask them, look, I've given you all this information. If what you're looking for is information, tell me what more you need, because I've given you all of it. Okay. And I don't see a need to be there just to give information. Secondly, if you're asking me what I'm willing to do to move this forward, I'll be glad to tell you that. And here's my stipulations, but it's going to involve his coming to the table. Look, I got a great idea. get my book, Necessary Endings. Okay. There's a
Okay.
chapter on there about when to have hope and when to not.
Okay.
And there are 7 or 8 things that it's listed there. And you tell them, when I see all of these things, when he admits he has a problem, when he admits that he can't fix it himself and that he needs significant professional help, when he's the one motivating himself and driving himself to that process, when we can verify that process and have accountability with it, when he's joined a healthy community to help him in that, when he's got somebody committed to him that's going to hold him accountable, and when we start to see some change and develop a track record, then we might have hope, but not based on any promises.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, why do I need to be the one making a commitment?
Well, you're the only one that can make a commitment for you. You can't make a commitment for him. You shouldn't be the one that makes a commitment for him. The things I just listed to you require for him to make a commitment, not just you. So I'm with you on that. He's got to make the commitment. Okay. But I think there may be, may need to find out some more about some of exactly. I'm a little concerned about just checking out more about the danger of the kids, but we'll talk to you about that. Okay. So I've got to get some other callers, and thank you for your call. I don't know if there's any overseers out there anywhere, but this missions board, that if that's exactly what happened, that is not a board. A board is an overseeing function. Okay. And if you are in an oversight function anywhere, if you're on a board, if you're on a board of elders, if you are the oversight of something in your church or in your business or this, that, and the other, take that seriously, because people are depending on you to set the boundaries to make it safe for everybody else. And if you don't feel like you're up to standing up to liars and manipulators, and you feel a little too soft-hearted, like you keep wanting to give them another chance, based on promises, then maybe not good to be in an oversight position. Because overseers have got to be pretty tough. Tough enough to say, I know you want to go back, but you're not going back until you deal with this problem. Because people are depending on you. That's how these abusive situations in churches and schools and all those kind of things happen. Because somebody's hurting somebody, and the overseers aren't doing anything about it. It's caused a lot of people a lot of pain, a lot of people even to question God. Because God, God didn't do this. God's shepherds weren't watching the sheep. That's what happened. It's a horrible thing. Okay. 844-940-2774 is the number to call in and get on the program. By the way, if you want to learn more, you'll go to the next level with all this. Go to the website boundaries.me, boundaries.me. Sign up to become a boundaries.me subscriber. I know I say this on every program, but come on, guys. It is really, really, really a fun group that's coming together there. They're doing a lot of cool growth things. We hear about them all the time on Facebook and other places. And to know how that works, all you got to do is go to boundaries.me and sign up. Very easy to do. Okay, Elizabeth, who's calling us from Italy, our second international caller of the day. Elizabeth, welcome to the program.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you, Dr. Cloud?
I'm well, but you don't sound Italian to me.
Sì, parlo italiano anche.
That's a little better. That's a little better. So if you're not bringing me any caprese, why are you calling? How can I help you?
Well, I'm calling because I am in a relationship a year and a half with my partner Roberto. He is Italian, and I'm in a situation where I um, I'm in a situation where I need to um, get married for legal status. I know it sounds kind of strange, and I'm probably divulging a little bit
Whoa, whoa,
too much
whoa, 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 whoa,
information.
whoa, 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 whoa. You're gonna get married for legal to solve a legal problem?
Well, part yes and part no, because I
I'm
cannot
worried
go
about
back
the
to the
part
U.S.
yes problem. I'm worried about the part yes problem part of it. I don't care about the part no problem. That's not what marriage is for, to solve legal problems. Are you
Right, right. So
do you
we
have your
thought we can do this and then do a more, obviously more formal, more appropriate type of a thing. Um,
why why
to,
why
later on.
why there have to be two? I mean, if you're going to get married for good reasons, then get married for good reasons. The legal stuff will fall in place because you did that. If you're not getting married for good reasons, why are you getting married for bad reasons?
I guess you have a good point there. Yeah. I
I've got a
mean,
great point there.
um,
marriage
yeah,
marriage is,
I,
most things can be unraveled um, in non-huge life-altering ways when we make a bad decision, but marriage is a big deal. I'd love to see you get married if you want to get married, but
mhm.
to solve a legal problem.
I've never really wanted to get married because I don't believe in like actual. The thought of me being with someone forever and forever scares me, and I get really anxious to the point where I get sweaty palms and
do do
nauseous in
you
my stomach.
do you know that marriage is an agreement and a commitment to be with somebody forever and ever until death do us part? Do you know that that's what it is?
Yeah, but there's nothing in life that says, I mean, anything can happen. Like, I mean, that's ideal. That's the ideal situation. But then, I come from more of a realistic approach where I think, okay, yes, it's for life and glad to do it. But, if you just never know, there's always that what if, what if, what if, what if.
Well, you can know for yourself. You can't know for somebody else,
Oh,
but
yes.
somebody can make a commitment and say, "For me, this is for life." I did that. My wife did that. Lots of people do
Hmm.
that. You can know for yourself. Now the trick is, it sounds like you don't even
You
know that
can't
you want.
or you can.
You can. I can know that I am making a lifelong commitment. I can control that. So when you say you don't ever
Right, right.
know, no, that's not true. You don't ever know for the other party whether or not you're going to get betrayed or
Hmm.
something, right? But you can know for yourself.
Yeah.
I'm concerned that you don't. It sounds like you don't even really kind of believe it, and you're going to go through with it. So I don't know how to help you there. But what is your question? Maybe there's something I can help you with.
Um, well, I guess you you answered it because I've gotten this same type
What
of
What was the
anxiety and
question I
panic
answered?
many times.
What was the
That
question I answered?
it sounds like I'm the one that I'm not sure if I want to go through it because I don't know if marriage is something, if I want to be in a marriage forever and ever and ever.
Well, I can
I
answer
want to
that
be
one
with
for
this
you.
person.
I can answer that one for you. You don't know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm just trying to do the math here. Okay. If I don't know if I like water or not, or want to be in the water, should I jump into a pool and sign up for a lifetime in the water? Huh. Now let me think about that. You're
Mhm.
you're you're clearly clearly not ready, not wanting. It's not bad that you don't want to do this. What's goofy is you don't want to do it and you're thinking about doing it anyway. That's the part where I would want to sit down and have a really long caprese with you. a
Mhm.
long a long, like talk, because why would you do something that's so binding and permanent and involved and all that when you don't even know if you want to do it? Why don't you wait until you're sure?
Because yeah, I guess, well, because I want to come back. I'm in a position where I need to go back to the US for because of my mother. My mother is sick,
Okay,
and
well, I'd
I
find
won't
another
be
way
able
to
to
get
come
back
back
to the
into the
U.S.
country. Yeah.
I'd find a different legal solution, but I got to go. I just want to leave you with something though. Um, I would like to invite you to look at marriage a little more seriously than you're looking at it. Because when you say,
Mhm.
well, that's the ideal, but I live in reality, I think somehow, and I don't know how
Yeah.
this has happened, somehow maybe you having had bad experiences, maybe in your family of
Oh
origin,
yeah.
maybe the society around you. I understand fully how people can accurately get really, really crummy views of marriage. Okay, I get that. I get that. But,
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I
but
was left with a wedding dress in hand 2 years ago.
only 2 years ago, you think there might be a little healing that needs to take place before you go get another wedding dress that looks more like a legal document than an
Mm.
outfit? Maybe.
Yeah.
Come on. I want
Mhm.
you to go get this view of marriage healed. And I would like for you to, if you want to date somebody, fine. But if your marriage is a sacred covenant and it is
Mhm.
an ideal, but it's not an ideal like lofty ideals that cannot be attained. It's not that kind of
Mhm.
ideal. It's not like Plato. I mean, we're talking about a real ideal that
Mhm.
the structure of a lot of good things depend on our being able to live up to
Mhm.
that ideal, like your health and
Right.
your kids and your future and all of that. Let's not treat this as a theoretical ideal. Let's treat this as a real ideal that if we sign up for it, we're serious about it. And if you're not and you're afraid and you're wounded, I would say, of course, I would be scared if I were you, but go get some healing first. Okay. And
Uh-huh.
then you may be ready for it. And you might find, what I would think would be really cool is if you could find out at some point you're with the right person in the right kind of relationship with the right commitments, and gosh, this could be the best thing going. So get healing first,
Uh-huh.
and then you might be ready. Okay. Hope that helps you. I've got to
Gotcha.
go to some other
Okay.
callers, but thank you for your call. I don't want you don't solve a legal problem with getting married. There are other ways to solve legal problems.
Okay.
Mary.
Thank you, Dr.
Okay.
Cloud.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for your
Arrivederci.
call. Thank
Ciao,
you.
ciao.
Grazie. Okay. Wow. You know, there's so much in that call. The good part is that she realizes she might not quite be ready for this, and she's questioning that. I've seen people go through with it when they're not ready. Take a big gulp. Somebody talks them into it, and they regret it. Get married when get married when you can't not get married. I mean, in a way, right? I mean, in some ways, marriage shouldn't even be a decision. It should be so obvious, or you wouldn't. If it's that hard, then I'd take some time and solve all those yellow lights before you jump into something that's really, really serious. Really serious. Speaking of marriages not making it, go to boundaries.me/recover if you're nearing divorce or thinking about divorce or have gone through a divorce because the marriage didn't make it. And we're going to have a 2-hour webinar, boundaries.me/recover. And you can find out how to get signed up for that. Okay, let me see where we are now. Let's go to where are we? Hold on. You know what? Okay, let's talk to Annette, who's calling us from Minnesota. Annette, welcome to the Dr. Cloud Show.
Dr. Cloud. Hey, Dr.
Hello.
Cloud. How
are you?
I'm great. I had the honor of walking you to, well, you were in a financial conference for Eagle Brook Church a few years back, and I walked you to your speaking engagement. So thanks for taking my call.
It was what was it? A financial conference? What?
It was a financial conference down in the Lakeville area here in Minnesota, and Eagle Brook Church was a part of it. And you came into the parking lot, but it was the incorrect door, so we were just trying to get you over so you could get ready to do your speech. So thanks for chatting with me.
I resemble that remark. If I wound up in the wrong parking lot and was lost, that probably was me. You're right. You're right.
Well, thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
My question is related to a relationship that I'm currently in. I'm divorced, have been for 10 years. A couple of years ago, met a gentleman at church and started a relationship. My children, I was married for 27 years. Our children were out the door and soaring, and still are. He has children that are in the house.
Congratulations.
One just, yeah, thanks. One's in high school, a junior, and the other one's in college or just started college. We differ greatly, and you'll get a chuckle out of this. There's no discipline, no guidance for his children. They are consumers of parental, everything parents shouldn't, money goes through their hands. They don't take care of anything in the house. I believe the parents have always done that for them. And honestly, I think it's weighing so heavy on me that I dream in the middle of the night and swear. And I don't swear ever.
You're swearing in your sleep?
Yes. And I'm thinking, oh, Lord, I have to do something. Right. So maybe it's a reiteration of
There's only one kid even in the mix, right? The 18, how 17, 18, would you say?
16 and an 18-year-old.
Okay, so he's got a couple more years of them being at home.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so what is the question?
How do I talk to him about, because I know that doesn't work for me. I had approached the subject when his son did something with money that he was told not to. And I said,
what?
Well,
what did he do?
Asked him what, well, he was given money for school, and he came back that evening and he said, well, I got taken. They took my money at one of those kiosks for a shoe shine kit. And I'm like, okay. And his dad asked him, what did you pay for it?
Stop. What grade is this kid in?
Yeah.
What grade?
He's a junior.
In high school?
A junior in high school.
Why do you need money for school? They don't charge to get in the door. Why do you mean like lunch money or something?
Well, no, he went out shopping for like school new shirts or jeans for school.
Oh, okay. School supplies. Okay. So he comes home and he said, somebody ripped me off.
Yeah, basically, they took my money and this is what I got. And he asked him, what'd you pay for it? He said $40. And he said, I told you not to spend anything foolish just for school supplies or school clothes. And he said, well, they just took my money. And Jim's like, nobody took your money.
Yeah, what do you mean he bought something, right?
Yeah, no. Yeah, you bought something. Okay. And he got mad and went down in his room and nothing was ever done, And so the next morning I asked him, I said, wow, where's the rules behind anything? And that's just a small thing.
Yeah.
Oy. So I did
All
ask
right.
him, I
So
said, well,
what is
does
the
Zach have
question?
rules? He doesn't do well in school. How do I ask him? Do I approach it and say, this is not working for me?
What is it that's not
I can't
working?
tell him how to raise his kids.
But you're just dating him now. You're not
Yeah.
getting married or anything. You're
Yeah.
not living together. You're not joining their
No.
lives.
Right.
Right. So, I mean, yeah, you can have
So,
well, here's how I would have the conversation. Instead of saying, you should do different with your kids, I'd say, what does it feel like when Zach blows you off like that? Do you ever worry about how he's going to do out there in the real world? I would try to
and
get
he
to
has
his
said that
pain.
to me. He said, if I can't, his pain.
If what?
Yeah. He has said to me, if I don't get his attention, I'm not going to get it. And I'm like, okay, that was 6 months ago. Nothing's changed. There's a
Well,
guilt
then
there. There's a pain. There's a guilt.
I would try to join. I'd try to draw the pain out. And when he says it, say, I've heard you say this before. Why don't I'll help you if you want me to? Why don't we go to a good parenting group? Why don't we go to a good parenting conference? Why don't we get a good parenting book and read through it? I've got some that I would recommend to you. Get boundaries, boundaries with kids. Get boundaries with teens.
Yep.
Sign up for boundaries.me and look at the parenting stuff on there. But I would try to bring out his pain. And then I would also be clear, you know what? I would not be able to live with that. And I wouldn't want my kids set up for failure like that. So I just join his pain and try to help him. Now, is this getting into the question of whether or not you want to continue dating him?
Yeah. Cause it's so stressful for me, and I know that's not selfish. It's just a fact.
Why is it stressful for you? If he's got problems
because I see his pain. Well, twofold. I didn't raise my kids that way. They're good kids. They're out earning their way in the world. I have 5 grandkids.
Thank you.
And yeah, they rock. Let me tell you. Not that we didn't come through some tough stuff. We all do.
Why? Well, of course we did. But why is it stressful for you when he's got this kid that spends his kiosk money? Why don't you say, I'm glad that's not happening to me. What are you going to do about it? I mean, why is it stressful for you? This is his problem, not yours.
I see his pain. I do. I see his pain. I think it's guilt from.
Well, you see his pain, but I mean, yeah, I'm a psychologist. I see people's pain all the time, and I know you care about him. I'm not trying to be harsh, but see, this doesn't have to be stressful for you to stand separate from him and say, Joey, I see your pain and I feel for you, but why don't you do something about this? Why don't you go see a good teenage teenage therapist or a therapist that works with teenagers?
Yeah.
Why don't you do something about this? So stay separate from him.
Yeah.
Draw out his pain, make suggestions, but I don't.
And come alongside of him. I'm happy to come alongside of him. I can't do it for him.
You can't do it for him. Now, if you do, if you are thinking about going further and deeper and getting more serious with this guy, then I think you guys need to go sit down before a marriage counselor and you say, look, I'm marrying you, but the way you do with your kids, I just want to make sure everybody understands that's you and them and they're adults and you, but it's not going to touch me. And you got to be clear about that. Or you're going to sign up. You're going to sign up for a lot of chaos.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. You're reiterating what has been ricocheting around in my mind. Thank you.
Well, just think about this. Think about this. If he doesn't do something fast, they're going to be lost in a church parking lot, wandering around, not knowing what door to get in someday.
I know. It's awful.
Right. That's where you found me. Look, if my parents had raised me right, I would know how to get to where I'm supposed to be on time. No, God bless you, parents. They did
Oh,
actually
we
do
raised
that.
them to
So,
soar, by golly. Yeah, and yeah,
oh
it's
gosh, tough thing.
oh yeah.
All righty. Well,
All
thank you for your
right. Well,
call,
I thank
and
you.
don't let
Yeah.
this don't let his problems become yours, other than to empathize with him about his kids, empathize with him, and offer him some help. But if you're going to sign up for this, you better have some clear boundaries about how much and how far you want to play with that. Um, okay, we are about out of time. I can't believe how quickly this time goes. I'm getting a note here from our production team that's telling me to hold on for something. I don't know what they are telling me to hold on for, but they are telling me to hold on. So we might have a big announcement for you. I know of one announcement. If you have been touched by divorce, go to boundaries.me/recover, not recovery, but recover. Boundaries.me/recover to find out about the 2-hour divorce recovery webinar that we're going to be doing, and you can get all the information you need from there. Let's see. Why are they telling me to hold on? She's been used to. I don't know. So the pastor said. I guess we lost. No, we lost to the caller. It says that somebody's going through a divorce, and the husband told her that the pastor said that she's being abusive. Well, I think you could call the pastor and you could ask him. I mean, that'd be the simple way. If you're going through a divorce, you usually kind of the channels of communication with somebody's in a divorce, for example, or even in a separation. This is one thing that's pretty important, is you need to establish the ground rules of how the communication of information is going to flow. In a divorce, what you have done is you have decided to dissolve a marriage, okay? And there are stewards of that process, usually your attorneys. And so everybody gets together and say, okay, how are we going to have the flow of information go through, and who's going to be in charge of it? Because a lot of pain continues to happen if people don't do that. And also in a separation, a separation that is constructed, hopefully, so the marriage can be reconciled. That's what a good separation does. But you got to have a structure and a process to it. Okay, guys, it has been fun being with you today. A lot of interesting stuff, a lot of pain in these areas of life that we look at on this program, the clinical arena, how you feel, all your stresses and anxieties, and the relationship arena, and also the reaching your goals and dreams, which I don't think we had a call about today, but we often do. All those things matter. What we know about thriving and what we know about humans that do well in life, it is a big picture, okay? Your relationships matter for thriving. It's the number one factor that creates thriving in life and longevity and health and everything else. It's the level to which we have deep, committed, long-term community and connectedness in our life. Also, how we are functioning with our talents and our gifts and reaching our goals has a lot to do with how healthy you are and how well you thrive and how you feel. So if there are problems here, it's good to address them. And also, certainly in the clinical arena, if you have ongoing depression, anxiety, stress, all of that, it's very important to address those things, because all of that equals a thriving person. And if you listen to this show long, you know that I believe that a lot of people add another piece of the pie and call it faith or spirituality or spiritual life. I don't look at it that way. I believe that our spiritual life runs through all of the whole pie, that we are going to feel different when we're spiritually healthy. We are going to have very different kinds of relationships when we're spiritually healthy. And we're going to reach our goals and dreams in a very different way, with much deeper meaning and purpose and specificity when we're spiritually healthy. So I would encourage you to look up, ask God, how can I take the next step in these 3 areas? Guide me, and He will. And until then, I would love to take your hand as we go down this journey together and be a little bit of a tour guide through your journey of those arenas. You can do that by tuning in here each and every day. We have a good time. We have a good tribe out there, and they go to Facebook and connect with them, or YouTube or Instagram. They're all there, and we can have a lot of good times going through this together. Go to boundaries.me and become a subscriber as well. That's where you can get the next level of learning about all the stuff that we talked about. Okay, love you guys, and I'll see